This week on Focus Outdoors, we have the privilege of hunting with Bob Patterson, the Executive Director of the Ruffed Grouse Society. Joining Bob are life members Jim Oliver and Larry Katz. They have come to Minnesota to join Tom Porker, the founder of Focus Outdoors, to hunt two of the finest game birds in our country, the ruffed grouse and the woodcock. The natural topic of conversation, of course, was the Ruffed Grouse Society. As we drove to our hunting fields, we learned that three men from the Monterey, Virginia area founded the Ruffed Grouse Society in 1961. Bruce Richardson, one of the founders, was the first president. Sabert Beveridge and Dixie Shoemate Jr. were the other founders. As we put our gear on and were getting ready to go into the woods to hunt this great bird, it was nice to know that we would be spending time in the woods with people that believe in a like cause. When Focus Outdoors returns, we'll be talking with Bob Patterson about the mission of the Ruffed Grouse Society.
Focus Outdoors is brought to you by the American Loggers Council. Get the facts. And brought to you by PLANO Tackle Company, building your trust with quality. And by Arctic Cat ATVs. Arctic Cat, more to go on.
Let's talk a little bit about why the Ruffed Grouse Society exists and when it began and why it started. First, it started in 1961 in Monterey, Virginia, when three people who enjoyed grouse hunting got together to discuss why it was that they saw fewer and fewer grouse. And they were concerned that either the food that the grouse needed wasn't there or the habitat that the grouse needed wasn't there, but they really weren't sure. And probably retrospectively what happened was that this was really the beginning of a natural cyclical decline in grouse populations. But fortunately, their studies led to the beginnings of the society, whose job it is now to maintain and conserve the habitat for ruffed grouse, American woodcock, and other early successional forest species, which include songbirds, which are a very number of them are endangered species, as well as rabbit, turkey, deer, and others who survive in the early forest. Now, what does that mean? The forest really is a continuum, just like life is a continuum. And so we need to have early successional forest, which is the type of forest which occurs in regrowth after a clear cut. So in 3 to 5 years, you get very dense undergrowth here, which supports the habitat, supports the sort of bedroom community, if you will, for the young grouse and woodcock, so that they can preserve their young under there, protect them from Aryan predators and fox and other predators, and then be able to be close to another area where they can get their food. That means there has to be a more mature forest beside it, so they can either in this area get aspen buds or other areas get acorns, and then a mature forest beyond that, which provides other cover. But if you think of those three sections of the forest, you learn that not only is there forest there for the habitat, for the food source, but there's also forest there which is the more mature forest for recreational purposes and also for logging and wood products purposes. So therefore, what we're really doing here in creating this continuum of forest existence is we're providing habitat for animals, and we're providing recreational areas for humans, and we're also providing good quality wood products for those people whose forest products industry is the livelihood for those people, the loggers and the furniture makers, paper makers, and others. They need that. If the forest gets too old and the trees become too mature, basically they die of their own accord, at which point then the wood quality is not good for anything except for maybe some firewood. So therefore, we want to conserve the forest in an ongoing basis so that there will be enough there for every different segment of the forest livelihood. We've got about 4 to 5 feet in altitude and went straight out.
Okay. You may have laid up in front of us. We'll check and see if you hit them. Why don't we continue on as soon as you're ready? I think you're correct, Bob. That's a little punk.
As we continued on our hunt down a logging road, Marsh pinned a grouse against the edge of the cover.
Go! Good.
On the road. Line on the road.
Whoa.
For once, our tactics worked. What I did, I came around this side and stationed myself on this point. You were abeam me on the road, and Tom and the dog were working the cover out this way. And I figured if there's a bird in there and it's running in front of us, it's going to flush on that edge. And lo and behold, the bird flushed as advertised. It was an open shot, much easier than normal grouse shot. And because I knew where you were, right on the beam me there, as soon as the bird got out in front of us, it was a safe shot because the bird never got more than 5 feet off the ground, which is uncomfortable in the woods because that's how tall people were, and dogs. So the bird came out here, and luckily I got him.
It was a great shot.
Thank you.
I mean, it's incredible. And they're like little track stars.
Oh, they are.
I don't think
I've
people
watched.
realize
I've chased
that about-
those little
Yeah.
rats.
I don't think people realize that about rough grouse. All they will is just scoot.
You bet.
Let's, Bob, okay, I got you. We're gonna go up this hill now, then we're gonna come back on top of that drummer and see, I gotta get him back.
Now what we found here is the drumming log of a male grouse. Drumming is the sound that the male grouse's wings make when it tries to attract the female to its side. And what we've heard throughout the day here, at least for the last hour or so, we've heard this drumming and we weren't able to locate the site. As we came down, the dog came on point actually over here and was pointing this direction, but at that point we didn't know that this was the actual log. When we flushed the bird, then we came in to find that here is evidence of bird droppings here and marks here where the grouse has brushed some of the moss off the edge here just from the drumming action of the wings. So this was the actual site. The bird flushed in this direction, got up and actually hit a branch and then deflected off to the right, and that's the last we saw of it. And none of us got a shot at it, but the interesting thing is that we actually did find the site of where the drumming had been coming from all along.
Nope.
Good boy, Marge, here.
He shot twice, came right over, almost hit me right in the face. I missed it. It landed, I don't know, 20 feet away. The dog went after it, and then it came back at me.
Wow. This is in good shape, too. Will they?
Oh, look.
Mark.
Oh, as you can tell here, we have a female. So one of the reasons is that in the center of the band, if the band in effect is broken, it's not continuous all the way across. And then when you look at the rump feathers, I can get one separated here. You can see there's only one dot on there, which is indicative of a female. And then these are all good, sharp feathers, not too well rounded, so it's a pretty juvenile bird. But it's nice, good weight.
When we come back, we'll hear from the late Gordon Gullion, the most prolific grouse biologist of our time.
In 1952, PLANO introduced the first molded plastic tackle box, and things haven't been the same since. For the next 50 years, PLANO tackle boxes would find their way into the hands of 3 generations of Americans. Today's PLANO is better than ever, featuring the finest in materials and craftsmanship, the latest in features and styling. PLANO tackle boxes, generation to generation, America's favorite tackle box.
Awesome, cool.
Why do men climb mountains? Because they can. And now you can climb mountains like never before thanks to Arctic Cat's Down and Dirty Sales event. Prices are down, way down. Payments are down, interest rates are down. And your down payment isn't down, it's out. And during our special Down and Dirty Sales event, we'll throw in a worn winch valued at $399 for only $69. Get down to your Arctic Cat dealer and prepare to get dirty. Arctic Cat, more to go on.
This week's Focal Point is brought to you by PLANO.
All right, hi, my name is Mark Fouts with the Rough Grouse Society. I'm the Regional Director of the Midwest Territory. I'm here today to talk to you about woodcock and how they correlate to the dogs and young puppies. A lot of people look for a great bird, upland game bird, to train their dog or work their dog to. And what I always recommend is get your dog onto woodcock. The woodcock, the American woodcock, they are abundant in aspen. And right now in the state of Minnesota, the Great Lakes states, the aspen is right now under attack from forest issues and anti-hunting and anti-sportsman's groups. But the American woodcock is a migratory bird. It starts up north in Canada and comes its way through the Great Lakes states and ends itself down in Louisiana and or Texas, and it takes the whole flyway. The Mississippi Flyway is probably the largest flyway of the woodcock, and also then you have the eastern states that will bring the bird down to Florida and those states. But with woodcock, they tend to hold tighter than the bobwhite quail. And so when you have a young dog, I always tell them to get them on some woodcock, get the dog some confidence. A lot of times a dog will point a woodcock and sometimes get a little close. You back the dog up a little bit. But the woodcock, and then when you do flush it, and I always tell everybody with a young dog, flush the woodcock, get it up, let it mark it, because it'll fly anywhere between 5 yards to 50 yards, depending on how many times you've gotten it up, and work that bird a couple times before you take a shot at it. And again, the more multiple points your young dog gets, the better the dog will provide years down the road.
I'm Doug Hannon. I've caught more than 500 10-pound plus largemouth bass.
Are you ready to get serious and catch the biggest fish of your lifetime? My original fishing snake has incredible lifelike natural swimming motion that big fish just can't resist.
With the Hannon Big Bass system, it takes just one cast to win $125,000 in my Trophy Bass Challenge.
Don't let the big one get away. Order your Hannon Big Bass system today. Call 1-877-CATCH-10.
Hi, I'm Terry Drury. And I'm Mark Drury. And the Game Mirror works for us.
Hi, I'm Ernie Calandrelli from Quaker Boy Game Calls, and the Game Mirror works for me.
Let the Walker's Game Mirror product line enhance your hearing to protect yourself from the harmful effects of muzzle flash. Hey, I'm Terry Robb, and Walker's Game Mirror works for me. Game Mirror works for me.
The Rough Grouse Society has been through their funding, has been a catalyst in encouraging several research projects, not only the one here, but in Minnesota, but in several other states. Because once the seed money becomes available from RGS for funding, then other agencies are willing to match that money, or in some cases provide more money from other sources. The Mille Lacs project has been an experimental project to investigate the role of timber cutting on wildlife populations, and most specifically the rough grouse population. And we've set up down there a 40-year cutting rotation on that area with the idea of testing the size of clear cuts that were most desirable, and we've made clear cuts all the way from 1 acre in size up to 40 acres in size, and then have monitored over a period of years the grouse response to these different treatments. We've increased rough grouse populations on our treated areas nearly tenfold over the untreated areas, and we've also provided renewed habitats for white-tailed deer, and we've produced a lot of good woodcock habitat, and we've also done some things for beaver populations that weren't necessarily desirable from our point of view, but the beaver sure liked what we were doing. And then we've also created habitat for many species of songbirds, habitats that were not available in the old forest. And so we've gotten some nice response by songbird populations to our rough grouse management.
As the afternoon waned, we were treated to one of the most unusual sights you will ever encounter. Our Gordon Setter colt tracks and points a grouse that had taken refuge in the water. As you see, he could not evade colt. As we changed locations, we were very lucky to come across a flight of woodcock. Marsh was the first dog to have contact with this intriguing little bird. Larry bags this bird, and Marsh finds and retrieves the bird to hand. A job well done. As we move through the woods, we find this gorgeous little crabapple tree.
On these little crab apples, certain years, and you can see a lot of the crabs are gone already, and it's been very warm, but the birds will come in before they start to ferment and just gobble them up like candy. They really like these little crab trees. It's, everybody thinks, you know, they eat buds and aspen and alders, but they also love fruit and insects, and this is one of their favorite fruits, a little crab.
As we are ending our day, we've had the grand opportunity to bag Bob's first woodcock.
Got a point right here. Whoa. There it goes!
Now there was a simultaneous.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Your first American woodcock. What an amazing little bird. I think they're the strangest, most unique creature Mother Nature ever designed. The American woodcock, it's a migratory bird. They will start northern Minnesota all the way into Canada, and they'll end up in Louisiana. Another thing is this long, odd-looking bill has a very definite, it's a very definite tool. What they do is they love little insects and earthworms. And what they'll do is they'll stick that bill down in holes and probe for worms. And they sense these worms through the vibration in the ground, and then at the very end it's a little extra flexible so they can just open that bill and grab the worm, pull them out, and eat them. Also, the American woodcock, very unique eye set.
It's very far back.
Yes, very much so, Bob. And what that's for is since they're digging and probing in the earth so much, those eyes are set back so they can see above them yet while they're trying to eat. Another unusual aspect of the bird, since they are probing and since they're trying to feel vibrations and hear what's in the earth, if you'll notice, here's their ears under their eyes. See that ear canal?
Almost like they're upside down.
Upside down. And those ears, again, are used to sense food in the earth. It helps them hear what's going on down there. The American woodcock is a migratory bird, as I've said, that will travel at night in extended periods of time. They also, and this is probably a little male, the way it seems, the russet color of the woodcock blends in perfectly to leaves. They are a very hard bird to find once they are shot and down on the ground because of their camouflage. Also, there's an Indian myth that the little woodcock was blessed by the three fingers of the Lord, and that's the black stripes upon the woodcock's head.
Very distinctive coloring.
Very unique. The American woodcock, a great, great game bird that's helped by a lot of the work the National Rough Grouse Society does. This is one of the benefactors right here.
Well, it's a wonderful way to finish off our day.
You bet. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Bob. Great day.
While Larry and Jim, two lifetime members, walk back to the vehicles, they have a sense of pride in the fact that they are affiliated with a wonderful conservation group, the Rough Grouse Society. They know the Rough Grouse Society will ensure the ruffed grouse and woodcock for future generations to come, as well as contributing to a healthy forest for all of us to enjoy.
Focus Outdoors was brought to you by the American Loggers Council. Get the facts. And brought to you by PLANO Tackle Company, building your trust with quality. And brought to you by Arctic Cat.